Twisted terrors, now your hosts on board.
What is going on, horror fanatics? Zomboy here. You're watching another episode of Twisted Terrors. On this episode, we're going to be talking about 1982's Creepshow. This movie was directed by John A. Romero. It's rated R. IMDb has this one rated as a 6.8 out of 10. Letterboxd has this one rated as a 3.5 out of 5. I'll read the plot. 5 tales in the style of a classic 50s horror comic involving a murdered man emerging from the grave, a meteor's ooze that makes everything grow, a snack for a crated creature, a scheming husband, and a malevolent millionaire with his insect phobia. The tagline on this one is the most fun you'll have being scared. So this one starts off, it's an anthology film with 5 different comic book style stories, and there's a story going on in between as well. So it starts off and a boy is getting in trouble from his father who's yelling at him, and the father hits his son.
In the garbage, right into the friggin' garbage. Now, you got any smart mouth about that?
No, it's any worse than the books you keep in your dresser, those ones under your underwear, those sex books.
Dan, you didn't have to
Hit him? Not only do I find out he's reading this crap, he's a goddamn little snoop as well.
All for reading a scary comic. The dad takes away the boy's comic and goes and throws it in the trash. The boy is crying and very upset. That night when he's in bed, there's a skeleton outside of his window, and the boy smiles. So this starts off with a story called Father's Day. It's about a family of siblings that get together every Father's Day to mourn their father's death, who passed away on Father's Day. The story goes, the father was mean and kind of insane, and one of the daughters was a caretaker for him, and she met a boy and they started dating, and the father didn't like that, so the father killed the boyfriend in a hunting accident, and he was always mean to the daughter, and so one day the daughter snapped while the dad was yelling at her, and she smashed him on the head with a marble ashtray, killing him.
It's Father's Day. Where's my cake? You promised me my cake. Where's
Happy Father's
So the family gets together every Father's Day. The daughter that killed her father, she goes out to the grave every year and talks to the grave. She shows up at the house, goes out there, and starts complaining about the way he treated her and that he made her do it. Of course, he comes back from the dead to wreak vengeance because he wants his cake. On Father's Day, she was in the middle of making him his cake when she killed him, so he raised from the grave, "I want my cake." Everyone's wondering where the sister is. One of the sister's husbands goes outside to find her and falls inside of an open grave. He finds the sister, but just after that, he witnesses a zombie and the headstone comes falling into the hole, killing him. Some of the other siblings, still wondering where everyone's at. They wander in the kitchen. They find the cook dead, and then they see Dad as a zombie, and Dad kills them. And the final scene of this movie is one of the kids coming into the kitchen, and Dad has made a cake out of one of the daughter's head, including candles and all, saying it's okay, he's got his cake.
Father's Day, and I got my
Happy Father's Day.
And that's the end. The next one, The Lonesome Death of Jordy Verrill. This one stars Stephen King. He plays the main character on this one, who is a farmer and sees a comet fall and hit his front yard. So he goes out there and realizes he's going to cash in and sell this comet. He goes to reach down to touch it, and of course it's super hot. It burns his fingers. So his idea is to go grab some cold water, dump it on the comet, and of course when he does, it splits open. But it cools off, so he picks up each side, draining the ooze from inside into the ground and putting the comet in a bucket. He goes inside to watch some TV. His fingers are starting to blister. He keeps on sucking on his fingers. Super gross. Cuts to outside, and there's a bunch of green plants growing in his front yard, including all over the bucket. When he goes to turn the TV off, he realizes the tips of his fingers, where the blisters were, are turning green. This fast forwards and shows his yard. It's absolutely covered in this green plant now. It's growing up the house. It's on the roof. It's overtaking the bucket, and it seems to all be radiating from this comet hole. Inside his house is starting to grow this green plant on everything, including the chairs, his remote for the TV, the on button for the TV, so it's pretty much spreading everywhere he touches. He decides to take a bath. He gets inside the bath and it instantly feels better, but he goes to bed, and when he wakes up in the morning, he is covered head to toe with a green plant, and he can barely even speak.
Most livestock prices fell on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange. In quiet trading, cotton delivery was now settled at 63.
Please, God.
So he takes a shotgun and kills himself. And it pans to outside, and his entire house is overcome with this green plant, and it pans to the town he lives by, and it is spreading towards the town slowly. And that is where this one ends. The next one is called Something to Tide You Over. This one is starring Leslie Nielsen and Ted Danson. Harry, who's played by Ted, he's in bed. Someone's knocking on his door. He goes to answer the door, and there's a man named Harry outside who puts his foot in the door so he can't close it. You find out pretty quickly that Harry is sleeping with Richard's wife, and Richard found out about it, is confronting Harry.
Don't call me mister. You know damn well who I am, so let's not play any games, huh?
Come on, get out of here.
You listen to me, Harry, and listen carefully. Unless you let me in and talk to me, something very nasty is going to happen to Rebecca.
Harry tells him, we were gonna tell you. He tells him, well, you're gonna come with me, otherwise something really bad is gonna happen to Rebecca, and that's his wife. And then he plays an audio tape with Rebecca begging him to please go with him.
He's got me. Please come. Please. He's got me. If you don't come, then please, Harry. Please come.
I had to stop it there. I couldn't bear to record anymore.
So he takes him for a little drive. They go down to the beach. In the distance, he can see there's what looks like a grave, and Harry's asking if she's buried. And they go running down there, and Richard pulls out a gun, and then he realizes it's just a giant hole. So Richard tells Harry to get in the hole, otherwise he's gonna shoot him. And he says, I want to incapacitate you, and if you're okay with that, I'll let you see Rebecca. So he crawls in, and they bury him alive up to his neck. Made a promise, and I'm going to upkeep it. So he leaves and comes back, and he's got a TV, VCR, and a camera.
It's showtime!
Becky?
That great video? I love this stuff. Now just look at the quality of that picture, Harry.
Somebody!
Becky?
No!
Becky!
Can't hear you. I'm sorry. She lost a coin toss. I had to bury her further down the beach.
This is going to be you as well, but you might get out. You guys are going to drown when the tide comes in. And you're going to watch till the TV goes out. And so he asks what the VCR is for, and he tells him, I'm going to tape it so I can watch this later on. So Richard ends up leaving him buried, goes home, and he lives on a beach house right down from where they're buried. And he starts watching a live feed of the both of them as the tide's coming in. And he's laughing, having a drink, relaxing on the couch. As Harry is taking in water, and he looks at the TV and he says,
Richard! I'm gonna get you. You hear me, Richard? You hear me, Richard? I'm gonna get you!
Hold your breath there, Harry. Gotta hold your breath.
Later that night, Harry goes down and retrieves his electronics, and he can't find the bodies, so he assumes they washed out to the sea. He goes home and has a shower, but he keeps on hearing things, and you keep on seeing shadows, and it cuts to the beach, and you can see there are footsteps coming out of the water and up the sand. He comes out of the shower, and he definitely hears something, so he grabs his gun, and when he goes to open his bedroom door, there's two zombies, and it's Rebecca and Harry, and they are telling him that they're going to bury him on the beach and see how long he can hold his breath. And the next scene is him buried on the beach with his head sticking out of the water.
I can hold my breath for a long time.
And that's the end of that segment. The next one is called The Crate. This one is a group of professors that are friends that are, I think they teach at a college, and the janitor is working in the college, and he drops a quarter and it rolls into a grate in the wall. So he ends up looking in the grate, and he notices there's a big crate behind the grate under the stairs. So he calls the professor and tells him, I found a grate I think you'd be interested in, because it's got 1834 as the date on the side of the crate. So the professor's at a party. He's with one of his other friends, who's also a professor at the school, and his wife. His wife is super annoying, and in this one, he keeps on daydreaming about ways he's gonna kill his wife, because she's super annoying, and pretty much everyone at the party is annoyed by her. And so he ends up leaving the party when the janitor calls. He goes there. They end up getting the grate pulled off the wall. They pull the crate out, which is chained shut.
That's her Cheryl being over in England. I figure you're the boss.
So they take it back to one of the rooms, put it on a table, and they end up getting the locks off, pulling the chains, and the top's nailed shut. So they're pulling all the nails out, pull open the top just a little bit, and the janitor's looking inside, and he says there's something shiny, and he reaches in, and he gets attacked by something in the crate. And it ends up pulling him partially in as blood's going all over the place. So the professor ends up running out of the room, and he runs into another colleague. He's trying to tell him what happened, and the colleague does not believe him. So they go into the room, and there's blood everywhere, but the crate is gone. So they're following the blood scrape marks all over the floor, and the creature pushed the crate back under the stairs where he felt safe. So they grab a flashlight and they're looking at the crate, and the guy gets a little too close and the creature grabs him and ends up biting his neck, killing him. He ends up leaving the school and he goes to another colleague's house, the one that has the annoying wife, tells him everything that happened. And the guy doesn't quite believe him, but he ends up putting a bunch of sleeping meds in his drink. He passes out and he goes to the school. He finds all the blood and he sees the crate, and then he ends up grabbing a mop and bucket and he cleans the whole mess, all the blood and everything. And when his annoying wife gets home, there's a huge note telling her basically something happened and she needed to go to the college. So she does. She shows up at the college, finds him, and he tricks her, telling her to go look underneath the stairs because he is just fed up being married apparently, and pushes her under there, and he's holding her and yelling for this thing to wake up.
What are you doing, Henry? What are you doing?
What I should have done a long time ago! Get in there, Wilma! Wake up! Wake up! Wherever you are, wake up! Wake up! Dinner time! Poison me! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake up! Wake!
But nothing happens, and she starts condescending him, telling him all this bad stuff and how stupid he is.
Same old Henry. Afraid of your own shadow. You know what, Henry? You're a regular barnyard exhibit. Sheep's eyes, chicken guts, piggy friends. No good at making money. No good at making an impression on anybody. And no good at all in bed.
And then all of a sudden the top opens and she gets killed. He ends up getting the locks back on and the chains, and he takes the crate to a local quarry, throwing it off the top of the quarry into the water, into the depths below. He goes back to his house, meets up with his colleague, and he tells him everything's gonna be okay now. He got rid of the bodies, he got rid of the crate. They just never need to talk about this again. It cuts to the bottom of the quarry in the depth of the water. The creature breaks out of the side of the crate. And that is the end. The next one is called They're Creeping Up on You. This one is about a millionaire clean freak bugaphobe that lives in this studio apartment that is medically clean. I mean, the whole thing is white. Everything is clean. He finds a roach.
Bastards.
And you can tell this guy is a big business owner and he's extremely mean to people. At one point, a competitor, he ended up committing suicide and he finds out and he's stoked. And the guy that committed suicide, his wife ends up calling him because she blames him for his death. And he is so rude, the conversation he has with her.
Who are you?
Lord Hassenmeyer. I'm the wife of the man you murdered this afternoon.
Mrs. Katzenmeyer, how are you?
I heard the shot.
Yes. George Genron told me old Norman went out with a bang.
How many men have you destroyed? How many men have you killed, you monster?
Only the stupid ones. Only the ones who handed me a knife and then stretched out their throats.
And then he keeps on finding more and more roaches, which he says his apartment is supposed to be germ and bug free. So he ends up calling the landlord, telling him that if they don't get a exterminator there by midnight, that they are all gonna lose their jobs. At one point, there's just roaches crawling all over the place, and he's stepping on them and stomping on them, and the power goes out. And his emergency lighting comes back on, and the roaches are taking over. he has a safe room. So he goes in his safe room and shuts and locks the door, and it's got its own oxygen. All of a sudden, inside, there's an infestation of cockroaches. They're pouring out of everywhere, and he can't get out of this room. Well, they find him dead in his safe room, and there are no cockroaches anywhere in his apartment. There's a close-up of his face, and his throat starts to move, and then a whole bunch of cockroaches start pouring out of his mouth. And that is the end of that one. So after that episode, it cuts back to the story about the kid with the comic. It's two garbage men. They're picking up the garbages. As they're picking up their garbage, one of them finds the comic book, and he's looking inside the comic book saying he loves these. And fun fact, one of the guys is Tom Savini, the makeup artist of this movie.
Comic book. What? It's a comic book. What? It's a comic book. Comic book. My kids love these things. I love them too. Hey, look. You can sit away for all this stuff here. Look. X-ray glasses. Nah, they don't work. They make your eyes black. You're looking at it's a gag, you know? Look. An authentic voodoo doll. Somebody already sent for it. Yeah, we can't get that.
So it cuts in the kitchen, and the dad is complaining to the mom how the son is not going to read that horror garbage anymore, and he starts complaining of a neck ache. And it cuts to the son in his room, and he's stabbing a voodoo doll in the neck with a needle. Cuts back to the dad. He's in more and more pain, and the pain gets more intense, and then when you see the son, he says,
"Word of the shot, Dad?"
And that's the end of the movie. Cool fun facts about this one: the marble ashtray that is in the Father's Day episode, it is in actually all of them. It is kind of an Easter egg. That marble ashtray is in all the different segments of this one. Kind of creepy, but Tom Savini did the makeup effects for this one, and the animatronic for the creep is built on an actual human skeleton that he ordered from India. Super creepy, but very common in the 80s. I'm actually hearing that more and more. The kid from the wraparound story on this one is Stephen King's real-life son, Joe Hill, who went on to also be a successful horror novelist himself. Leslie Nielsen, Mr. Funny Man himself from Naked Gun series, can't take himself too seriously, so he was known on set to have a fart machine on him at all times, and he would use it constantly to make everyone laugh around him, including, and sometimes he would even do it in some really intense scenes, so he was known to just be always making people laugh, which is what he does. I love this movie. They're not all great. Some of them, Something to Tide You Over, that's my favorite one. The Crate is my second favorite. They're Creeping Up on You is my third favorite. Father's Day is my fourth favorite. And The Lonesome Death of Geordie Verrill is my fifth favorite. That one I just have a hard time getting into, and it's no one's fault. Stephen King, his acting in that is awful. But I read that George Romero wanted him to play almost a cartoon character in that one, and it really shows, but I didn't care much for that one. Story's okay, but they're all fun, they're short, they get right to the point. I like anthology films for that reason, and you kind of get a whole mix-up. These ones are just kind of ridiculous. This movie has a lot of nostalgia for me, but it's not probably in my top movies. It is one that if it's on, I watch it, and usually near Halloween time. The second one, Creepshow 2, has some good stuff as well. But tell me which one of these is your favorite stories from Creepshow. Put it in the comments down below. I'd love to see which one's your favorite. Like I said, I think my favorite is Something to Tide You Over. I just enjoy that one. There's not a ton of horror, but I find myself holding my breath as Ted Danzig is slowly drowning. Oh man, that just, I can feel the sand in my eyes. It just is very horrifying to me, but I appreciate watching this episode. This is Zomboy signing out, and I will see you on the next video. See you later.